On this day, we look back. It is a day when liturgically things change. The great O antiphons come in and are sung throughout the world, either in the original Latin or in translation. And there is a certain stirring in the liturgical air. The Lord is close. And on this day, we look back. All these generations that we've just had in the long gospel of the genealogy remind us of the centuries still hoping, yet in the dark, for the just were in a grey, shady area, somewhere in the Hades, the limbo, we're not quite sure, waiting for that moment when the Lord eventually, through the incarnation, would be able to say, consummatum est, at which point it was opened. The curtain of the temple, the old regime, was torn in two from top to bottom, and these bodies, these souls actually, not the bodies, well, we're not quite sure what happened there, but something definitely happened. A strange cosmic event in Jerusalem, obviously indicating that was the beginning of the new regime, the liberation for which these souls have been waiting for years and years and years. And the antiphon of this particular day, O Sapientia, contains also something of the majesty of God in control of all history, ordering all things. There are some hymns which talk about the machine, machina, of creation. That is the God in control. And we see how not a detail is spared. The Lord, after the resurrection, gives a lectio divina of the passages that refer to him in the Torah, in the Psalms and in the prophets. I'd like to pause for a second on this question of the wisdom that guides all things. We are included. There is a teaching given, especially to the English nation, but through her to all mankind, through our own mystic Julian, who in a reclusory was shown something of that wisdom. Nothing happens just like that. Even what we do amiss, he is able and wants to redress. And she does have this intuition given from on high, that there is nothing that is not for our good, which actually echoes St. Paul in Romans 8:28, omnia cooperantur in bonum diligentibus Deum, all things work together for good, those who love God, which does, if we read it properly, give a certain peace to the Christian soul, who then is able to read with the lens of faith what is Providence saying in this unprepared event. It's important, otherwise we, as it were, try to retake control of history, forgetting our true nature, the creature. We can't command life. All we can do is command our soul and its reaction to life. If we learned that, we would accept with equanimity the event without losing unnecessary peace. There is, in this season, also a looking back on the individual level. It is, if one goes into quiet mode of prayer, a time when we relive Christmases of the past, many of them by now, and also graces, both spiritual and temporal, that we have received, joys, perhaps also sorrows. People have gone on, but we are grateful. We can't hang on even to a person. A creature has no rights. It's all a bonus. But having said that, it is a time also to appreciate that there are graces that we need to relive and reignite. Graces of vocation, traces of having been touched at the altar, because Christmas is a time when there is much grace in the air. And oftentimes it has been a time when we've encountered truly the Lord in that joy of the angels. And we must remember that part of our liturgy comes from heaven. There is a reference in the genealogy to King Uzziah, and under him Isaiah heard the angels singing, Holy, Holy, Holy. It was heard also by the Desert Fathers, Hagios, Theos, Hagios, Ischyros, Hagios, Athanatos, Eleison, Imas, which is coming to their liturgy, which we have on Good Friday. Also, the Gloria in Excelsis was given by the angels. So, in the Christmas period, we are very much on a thin frontier. And we need to remember that at the altar, and also in the very rich liturgy of these days, unpacking the centuries, reading the wisdom of our God, and realizing also that the true Christmas is not made of presents, but of presents of soul. It doesn't need to be complicated. One can put a lot into a card, meaningful words, which perhaps would mean far more than a present one didn't really want.